Hello guys, welcome into this new session. We will continue developing our end language and we will focus this session in a paradigm called object-oriented programming. What I mean with paradigm is just a style of programming. So our end language will be from now until the future will be a multi-paradigm language. So maybe in the future we will also add aspect-oriented programming, another story, another paradigm. So let's build our OOP concepts in this language, and we will start by this sample. In this session we will focus only on declaration and instantiation of objects. So everyone that says OOP, the two things comes to mind is classes and how to instantiate objects and so on. So as you see here guys, we have a sample. For class declaration, for simplicity, we will do something like that: class, person, and open brace and close brace. We will not define any methods for now. Also, I will cover the instantiation of some objects. As you see here, we have a construction of the object, of the instance person, and then what I will print the class person. It should return a class person object, and if I do print p, it will print a person instance. So let's see, in the other hand, the bytecode. For class declaration, we will see a new bytecode called op class. This op class, it will, when the VM reads that bytecode, it will create a class object and push it to the stack. So as you see here, we have op class person, and what we did, you see the IP is on op define global, but previously the VM load to stack a class object. And then what we will VM do is to continue executing or interpreting this bytecode. This bytecode is charged to define some global in the hash table globals, and this class will be treated as a normal variable. Okay, so now let's see the instantiation part. So in the instantiation part, we will get global, the person, and on the stack we will have a class object, and then we have an op call with a number of arguments. So person as a constructor, it will be seems or treated as a function, as a call function. So this is treated in previous session how we treat persons, how we parse functions, and classes constructor, we will treat it as functions. So get global person will load to the stack a class object, and then we will pop that and get it, because we have the IP on the call, and then we will push to the stack another object called person instance, and then we assign that to this p, and so on. We after this bytecode, you will see set the variable and so on. So let's jump to the bytecode, to the code, and we will add two objects: the instance, the class object, and the instance object. So let's go to our code. We will go to object.h, and we need to add two new type objects. First one is object class, and the second one is object instance. We add, as usual, these macros. We define as class accept value, and what I need to do is to cast that to be object class, and as object value. So let's copy that and paste it here. So to add as instance to accept some value, and also we cast that to be object instance. We didn't yet define this structure, but we will do later. So also we need to add, let's copy that. So is class and object class. Also we'll paste another one. So is instance and we pass the type instance. So let's go and add these two structures. The first one, we will define a new type so this new type, it will has as always this header. Also we need to store the name of the class, and also we will have a hash table for methods. In this session we will not treat methods. So let's continue. Also I will have another structure. This structure will be object instance. Also we have that famous header. Okay, so the instance, we should also track what's the class of that instance, and also the instance has fields or attributes. So why I did name it that class with a K, not with a C? Because C is a keyword in C++, so I will avoid that and name it class. So let's go and add new two functions. First one will return a class object based on some name, object string, name of the class, and also we need a function that return an instance based on a class, and that's it. So let's go to implement these two functions. Vim objects here. So first one will return a class, new class based on a name. So let's create a class object. We'll allocate that on the heap. Allocate object class with type class, and also the name will be name, and also we will initialize the table of methods, class methods, and finally we'll return that object class. So let's do the same for instance. New instance that creates an instance based on the class. So let's create the object instance and name it instance, allocate that, Okay. Okay, and we'll assign for each field its appropriate value. For example, the class will be class, and table, it will initialize the table of fields, and finally we will return that instance. So that's it. What also we need a new bytecode called op class, and I will add it now. So let's go. Before that, let's come back to object.c, and we will print object class to be printf class, and the name of the class will be as class, and then plus the value, and then I will get the name with its chars, then I will break that. So for the object instance, the simplest one, I will just return the name of the class and the instance. So as instance value, then I will access to class and access to name and get the chars. I will break. So far so good. So let's go and add the new bytecode called up class that push to stack a class object. So let's go and debug that. .c and case op class, and we return a constant instruction op class plus the shank and offset. So that's it. So now let's go to the fun part. In our compiler we will add the new definition in our grammar. It's the class declaration, and we will parse that and we will return emits these bytecodes. So we will see. So first of all, let's go to our grammar and see how we add, what's the definition of a class declaration. So let's add it after that. Have something called class declaration. So the definition of that, I will go after function. Okay, after that I will add class declaration, and the definition will be the keyword class and some identifier, also as a open parent and a bunch of functions, or it could be a 0 or a bunch of functions, then a closing parent. So that's it for class declaration. So let's align that just to see that clearly. So we will go to our declaration function and match the token class, and they'll invoke the class declaration function, and it will do the rest for us. So let's go to func declaration, and after that it will be, excuse me, after that it will be a match for token class, and then I will call the class declaration. Class declaration. So let's do it before statement. So static void class declaration, and what I need to do is to consume token identifier, and if not, I will raise an error, expect class name, and I will get the name constant of it by using make identifier constant that store that in the constant array and return the index on the token parser previous constant, and then I will declare the variable, and then I will emit the byte of class with that name constant. Also, I will define the variable with same name constant. Also, what I need to do is to push to the stack I need to get that and push it to the stack, the class object, because when I define a variable and so on, the stack is not, it doesn't have that object, so I need to call a function that emit a get byte that will get that it will get that class object and push it to the stack. So we will go to variable, and what I need to do, excuse me, variable. So what I need to do is to create a function called named variable, and it will take the name of the token and also can assign. So I will take all of these and put it here, and in the variable I will call named variable on parser previous, and it will be true, and here I will update that parser previous is name, here also is name, and here also is name. No, here I will pass the can assign parameter. So that's it. So I did that because I want to use that one on some token, and I will pass the boolean variable. So let's come back to class declaration, and this it will, where is that class? Okay, here. So when I will do that named variable, so basically what I'm doing is to tell that function get emit to the VM a get operation to get that token, and then the VM will push that token to, will push that object to the stack. So order false. So then what I need to do is consume token left brace. So let's remove that for now. We'll not use it right now. We will use it when we will do the declaration of methods, and that it will be useful. So expect before class body and consume token right brace expect after class body. Okay, and then here it will be, we will not treat that for now. It will be the class body. We treat methods. So for now we will skip it, and finally we'll emit up to free the stack. So far so good. So let's go to the VM and see how we will interpret this one. So vim vm.c, and we will go to up constant, and before that we will add up class here, and remember guys, it will push to the stack a class object. So what I will do is object val, and I will make a new class object based on read string. So next I will treat the call of that, because remember we have for the instance or for the call of that we have a class object, and that we have on the stack, so we will need to return it to a persons instance. So I will go to call value So what we need to do here is for the objects class, how to call that is just to make an instance object and push it to the stack. New instance as class, and I will pop the value from the stack and turn it to a class object, and then I pass it to the new instance function. So then I will push that, and then I will return true. So let's go and also let's free the memory. So I will just do some updates here for free object. So first of all, let's just name this for the object string, it's just a string, and then I will free directly the object. For the other ones also, I will free directly the object. Let's make it simple name function. Also here, I will just free directly the object and name it closure. Also for here, and also for here. So for the closure, remember guys, we have an app value array. So what I need to do is to free an array. It's an array of objects app value pointer, and to get that is to make closure app values, and that's and here we free that. So let's go to free the case object class, and also for case object instance. I will break, and also we'll create a class object class object class object. We will free the table of methods, class methods, and finally we will free object class object. For instance, I make also instance object object instance object, and also I would free the hash table fields. Object instance object, and that's it. So let's build the project and see if we have any problems. So it says that we doesn't know the table. So what I need to do is to go to vm object.h and add that header here. So include table.h. So let's rebuild that another time. So it says in table we don't have that. So what we need to do is to go to object.h, and here for strings I will just make it a struct that's called object string, and let's go to value.h and add that here to avoid that problem. Struct object string. So let's see. Okay, the problem in so let's go to table.h, and what I need to do is to remove that object from here, and we go to table.c and add that here, include objects.h. So let's rebuild the project. So to fix the problem, guys, we will go to value.h because I did here a pointer into a pointer. So fix that and let's rebuild the project. So we have a error in the object.c. Okay, then object c as instance. So let's clear that and let's make fall. So as you see, we didn't have any errors. So let's see the sample. So let's compile that and see what's going on. So as you see, this is the bytecode we have of class and defined that to global. And we have some pop, and also we will get global, this one, and then we call it, and then we define it to this variable p, and for printing we will get the global and we'll print that, and also for printing the instance we'll get that. So as you see, when we need to print, we print class person, and also for person instance we print instance. So let's uncomment the debug and see. So as you see, we've printed the class person and also we've printed the person instance. So guys, see you in another session, and we will continue developing this whole project, and we will add methods and inheritance and all the concepts of OOP. So see you guys in another session.